next day. Chapter 55. Apprehension. Apprehension. I wonder what that word means. Let's see if we're going to get some context clues in our chapter. Every day, money is trickling in. Daddy's brought home money from work the last 2 days, and every night Rick gives me money collected at the 6th Street Community Kitchen. And when we come back from supper, Ree and Ajax are always waiting on the corner with more she's collected from her family of sign flyers. That's what Daddy calls them. I don't think I'll ever look at them the same, he says. I won't either. But there's no two ways around it. Time's getting short. Very short. When I got home from school yesterday, Byron had a package for me. Baby's emotional support vest. Byron ordered it on his credit card since we don't have one. I opened up the box and held the vest up for Byron to see. Looks very official, Byron said, admiring the red and black colors and fingering the buckles. Well made, too. He'll be able to wear this for a long time. I hope so, I said. Time's not just running out for Jewel, it's running out for Baby, too. Tamara at the Humane Society said more and more people have filled out applications to adopt Baby. He won't have any trouble finding a great home if things don't work out, she said. But you said you'd keep him until Jewel gets out of the hospital. We can keep him a few days longer, Tamara had said. But that's it. There are other dogs needing his kennel space, Piper. I feel sick remembering all this as I climb onto the school bus. Hey, Piper! Jerome waves from the back where he sits with Noah. They're both grinning. What's up? I ask, popping down on the seat in front of them. This! Jerome hands me an envelope filled with money and 2 brownie order forms. My jaw drops. That looks like a lot of money, I gasp. My track team loves Firefly gourmet brownies, especially Coach Sloan, he explains. Can't get enough of these mocha mint and chocolates. Noah hands me another envelope. It's not as much, he says shyly, but every little bit counts. It surely does, I say. I hold both envelopes in my heart. Y'all are the best. Walking down the hall to my class, I notice more kids are smiling at me. One boy even calls me Brownie Girl. Is it the magic power of brownies and story? Or am I finally seeing the whole donut? All day at school, kids and teachers turned in money and order forms to Vice Principal Meeks. As soon as the end of school bell buzzed, Karina and I raced down to the office to pick them up. Have you brought a wheelbarrow? Mr. Meeks says with a grin. No kidding, Karina says, staring at the box full of cash and forms. Me? I can't say a word. It seems too good to be true. Usually, me, Daria, Karina, and Fire walk home from school. But today, we ride the bus. No toddling today. We've got money to count. I am still tongue-tied with excitement and worry when we get to Karina's family's room. We hold our breath as Mrs. Bailey opens the box. My goodness, she says. She pushes the box toward us. Well, girls, get counting. It's got to be $1 million at least, Fire says. Actually, it's got to be at least $174, Karina reminds us. Fire and I separate the bills into stacks of 1s, 5s, 10s, and 20s. I can't believe how many 20s there are. Then Fire and I count it out. Holy cow, Fire says. Daria counts it again, then writes the total on a piece of paper. $246. I nearly jump all the way up to the ceiling. We did it! We did it and then some. Piper, honey, don't forget we only get to keep 40% of that, Mrs. B says. Daria groans. Ugh. Karina does the math. We get to keep $98. My heart crashes to the floor. But then I remember There's the money Mama's collected from Ree and Rick at the 6th Street Community Kitchen and the rest of the brownie money. I call Mama. It only takes 2 blinks of an eye for her and Dylan to come down with the other money. Before Mrs. B starts counting again, I say, wait! I take my Band-Aid box out of my pack and pull out my allowance. Add this in too. It seems like it takes Mrs. B forever and ever to do a final count. I feel apprehension, a new word we learned today, growing inside me. Will it be enough? And if it's not, what do we do? So now you know what apprehension means, that feeling of, oh my gosh, is it going to be enough? That feeling of questioning whatever the decision is, that apprehension of, oh my gosh, is it enough? Did I do great? Did I just questioning? Well, girls, Mrs. B says, shaking her head, you sure did give it your best, especially you, Piper. My heart drops to the absolute most putrid basement of disappointment. Tears prick my eyes. And then a huge grin splits her face. And it sure did pay off. You ladies raised $586.79. We all look at each other not believing what we just heard. Wait, I say, how much of this do we get to keep for Jewel and Baby? Mrs. B gives my shoulder a squeeze. You get to keep all of it, Piper. Quick, I do the math in my head. And I whisper in case it isn't true, we have $126 over what we need? Mama grins, and 79 cents. Fire digs into the pocket of her jeans. She drops a penny into the pile of change. Make that 80 cents. We did it, Piper, Darius says, hugging me. And then we hug, all of us together. Me, Mama, Karina, Fire, Daria, and Mrs. B, laughing and crying good tears. Finally, we untangle. Karina glances at the clock. Her mother nods. We've got phone calls to make, and quick.